6:15. So why don't we get started, and we can still visit some more at the end of the evening. And at the end of the evening, y'all can catch us all up on what's going on, any shows and whatnot that we've got going on. We always start the meeting off with the reading of the mission statement.
Yes.
And I usually assign that, but this is my last meeting as president. It kind of dawned on me this morning. So I'm going to read it.
Okay.
You know, who knows if Gretchen will ever let me. So, WiVLA's mission is to provide an inspiring forum for women to explore and advance their creative development, to promote their work in the marketplace, and to infuse the community with their spirit of cooperation and invention. And I can say that being president the last couple of years, your boards, because there's been different people back and forth, have worked very hard to support that mission statement. And I'm very proud to work with these women. And we will talk about next year's board in a couple of minutes. Now, we did already kind of welcome people. So, excuse me, Wendy is a guest of Kathy's and also a long lost friend of Lee's. And we welcomed Mildred, and Gabriel has said that she will be the Empress of the Universe on the board next year.
I'm not able to do the PR this year. I'm sorry.
So I just have to settle for Empress. I don't think that our visual chair is here. Okay, so I just want to remind everyone that we have a virtual gallery, and it supports writers as well as our visual artists. And I believe we have some vacancies for February
And March.
I thought it was, actually, I thought I misspoke. I thought it was January and February. And then for the rest of the 2 months as well.
Right.
I'm saying treasurer instead of secretary. I'm saying February instead of January. Anyway, you can go to our website and sign up to display your work in the virtual gallery. There's social media tools associated with it, so you can share it. If you have questions on how to use it, there's any number of us on the board that can help you. So please, I encourage you to do that. Otherwise, I'll sign up and show my stuff. Okay, so there's been some discussion about the collaboration. The collaboration is WiVLA's marquee event that happens every other year. This year, we have a fabulous venue at Lee College in Baytown. After I received all of the visual entries from the artist, I sent them all to our contact there at Lee College, and she and her department chose the piece that they would use for the publicity. So it's behind me, although it's bigger than the space that we're allowed for our virtual backgrounds. But Gladys May, where'd you go?
I'm
Gladys
here.
May, oh, your camera's not
I'm
on.
here. Yes.
Your camera's not turned on.
Okay.
So Gladys May, I'm getting them tomorrow, but Gladys May lives in Baytown. And so she was able to pick up her postcard and poster today. So there's plenty of posters for all the participants. They will be sending out, I think it was 900 postcards, plus their mailing list. And all the participants will have available as well. So they'll be in my studio, Gretchen's studio. We may have them other places as well, but right now that's what we know. I'm picking them up tomorrow.
What have I done? Oh.
We can still, Kathleen, we were able to see and hear you, so you're good.
Okay.
Also, we were hoping to score a Harris County bus to transport people down there from kind of like the middle of Houston. That has fallen through, but June is still working like a trooper to come up with some alternative for us. So
Oh, wow.
everyone will be getting mailing tomorrow morning, late morning, about the reception, which is December 3rd, Saturday, first Saturday in December. And it has a link to the event page in our calendar. We would just love it if you would RSVP there, so we have an idea of how much food the college is providing for us and how much what we need in the way of beverages. So some people have already signed up saying that they want to take advantage of the transportation, but really we need you to sign up on, well, both, but for sure the RSVP that you're going to go to the event. So watch out for your email tomorrow. And even Wendy will get that email. If you got the email today, you're going to get tomorrow's email. So just a reminder that if you have any news that you want to share, send it to newsletter@wivla.org, and our illustrious newsletter editor, Sabina, okay, I need to put on a bunch of stuff.
There she
We'll
is.
share that information in our newsletter. There she's waving. Well, I guess we're all waving, so that's not helping. Okay. Okay, so before we get started with our program, I wanted to share a little information about the board next year. So our elections are in November, like everyone's elections, it seems. There may be some mystery at the end of our election as well. We still have a couple of empty slots. I don't think there'll be, any name calling or anything like that. But I'd like to share with you what the board looks like so far. And before the end of the month, the members will be getting email to accept the nominated slate. So for president, we have Gretchen McDaniel. She's wearing, I don't know what kind of hat that is, but she's wearing a little black hat.
That's a beautiful vintage hat
Oh, that's Gretchen.
from Volk.
Our secretary, and I don't know if she has a fancy title in mind yet, is Rosario Solis. Did I say your last name?
Oh,
Where is she? There she is.
could you say something so we can see you?
Well, she waved. She's
What's her? Oh,
wave again, Rosario. There she is.
yay.
Let's see. Membership chair. She is not here, but she did try to join the meeting last night. I noticed that. So she gets points for trying to join the meeting a day early. The membership chair will be Brooke Summers Perry. Some of you might remember her from the collaboration we had with Field Elementary School. I believe our liaison with the school referred to her as Miss Brooke, which is how all the kids refer to her. Programs is Margot Stutz-Toombs.
Yeah.
And she's, oh goodness. You can tell the board is full of a lot of fun and interesting and creative women. Visual is Elisa, and she is not here. Another name that I will totally chop up if I try to pronounce her last name. Visual arts chair. Oh, she is Marie Casamayor Harvey. She's waiting. She has had this position before, but she left, and now she's going back. We have literary co-chairs. Regina, is Regina here? Regina's not here tonight. Regina Vitolo and Ellen Seaton. I'm sure she'll have Ellen with the turkey hand. Newsletter editor so far is Sabina Gartler. And the web, our web I have webmaster. I'm leaving it to her to come up with what she wants to be called. Mildred Mills, and we see her twice. Where is she?
Yep. I'm double trouble.
Yes, she's on either side of Lee, who also has, is that a tiara? I don't know what's on your head. Okay.
Flowers.
Flowers, okay.
Oh, how did you do?
I
Wow,
I
that
feel
was
so
good.
Flower
underdressed.
crowned.
Virtual.
We have another at-large, we have, well, I said another, we have an at-large position, which we've tentatively calling community outreach. That position this year was held by June Russell. It was the first time we had it. And
Oh,
this year it will be Beatrice Stewart. I guess next year
Oh.
it will be Beatrice Stewart.
that was
She, I'm trying to remember, did she, classmate, did she go to,
Her sister
Uh,
died. Her sister died recently.
right, yes.
But she
I
was
know.
at one of the salons that we had on March the 6th, Sunday, March the 6th. She
Yeah,
was
yeah.
there.
I was thinking that she might have gone down to LaPorte for the poetry, but I can't remember if she did or not.
Did.
I don't think
Yes,
she did.
I think she
Okay.
did. Yeah, I know she did the reading, but I didn't know. But yes, her
Mhm.
older sister passed recently. So
Okay,
she's been dealing with that along with a lot of family and whatnot. So that is our current slate. We are missing a couple positions. We're missing a treasurer and a publicity person, but we may be missing publicity and newsletter editor. We have a Gumby-like newsletter editor that feels like by day she's a bookkeeper and by night she's a writer. And so she would be awesome as the treasurer, but we need to be able to backfill the newsletter editor position. So if anyone wants to nominate somebody who's not here for that spot, feel free to send me a little email.
Don't do it now. Send me an email.
Right, after the meeting. Yeah, don't do it now. Don't do it now. So I did mention that this is my last meeting as president. However, we are having a party soon. Margo, would you like to talk about our party?
Yes, we are going to,
Your iPhone first.
I can't hear.
okay, here we go. We have a very nice casual afternoon party planned for Sunday, December the 11th from 2 to 5 at Silver Street Studios. And I don't know about you, but I hate going to functions by myself where I have to come up with things to talk about. You know, I like to have a topic in the back of my mind I can pull out if I meet somebody I don't know. And so we have a topic for you, and that is, how do you hope to spread your creative wings next year? And, you know, this is a perfect time to meet people, talk about maybe some things that you're happy with that happened to you this year, and then talk about some plans or hopes that you have for next year. And you might meet some people, say if you want to take some creative writing classes, you might meet someone who says, oh, I know just the class for you. So you can, you know, meet people who can give you maybe some resources. And we'll have some forms there that you can fill out and give me input regarding workshops and field trips that you would like for 2023. And be sure to sign up for a finger food or a beverage on the calendar. So just check the calendar and it should be loads of fun. Anything else that I forgot to mention, Melody?
Well, not really. Something I just wanted to add. I was kind of waiting for a few days. You're going to be getting a little bit of email from us, okay? You'll be getting email about the collaboration, but you'll also be receiving email about this event as well. And it will have the link to the party, you know, on the calendar, which Margo was talking about, which will have a map on how to get there. Several of us have studios there and can help you with any questions, but also it will have a link to Sign Up Genius, where you can sign up for things to bring. So, gosh, I think Lee started using Sign Up Genius when she
Yeah.
was president. It's an awesome thing. So we kind of decide what it is we need, and then you sign up for what to bring. And that way we don't have 15 bottles of wine and nothing to eat, or just a bunch of plates and napkins and nothing to put on them. So I keep your eyes peeled for your email in the next few days. And we look forward to seeing you in person. I have to say, Margot has had lined up some fabulous workshops for us during the year. And I know I've done things that really stretched me creatively.
Mhm.
And so I encourage you to, if you have an idea, something you like,
Mhm.
fill out the survey at the party. And we may also be sending out an email survey in case you can't attend. So,
Okay.
we don't have a meeting. Okay, so we don't have a meeting in December. Margot, did you want to say a couple things about January? Do you have that information?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I lost the tab. Yeah. We have the speakers planned for next year, so you can go into the calendar and see all of that, what we've tentatively gotten set up. January will be Circle of Five, which is really fun. So if we're meeting on Zoom or meeting in person, I don't know yet, but we kind of group up into people, 5 people, and you bring work that you can show people in your circle and talk about yourself and learn about a few people in a little more detail. I have not been to a Circle of Five in a while, so
Oh,
anybody wants to say something else about that?
Yeah, we haven't had one in a while, and it's not just showing. I've heard some readings as well in these Circles of Five. So it's not just a visual thing. So
no.
I've heard excerpts from memoir. I've heard
Right.
poetry. I mean, so yeah,
It's very lively.
Sometimes in Circle of Five, we would have a general topic for people to share about. And that's a way to kind of get some brainstorming going for the group and to see who can contribute. Kay, did you remember what some of the topics were?
Yes, and I was saying it's following perfectly from Margot's suggestion for the holiday party. And about how we're spreading our creative wings, both visually and literally. And I think that's what you go in. You kind of introduce yourself to your party at Circle of Five, and you say a little bit about yourself and maybe present a little bit of your work. And it's really a lovely time. I've always enjoyed everyone I've been to in my years in WiVLA. They're just fabulous for meeting people and making connections and just seeing who we all are. We're all creative people. Yeah.
Well, I have to give credit to June Russell for coming up with the idea of spreading the wings. The idea I came up with was much more subdued and serious. And she said, no, scrap that. Do some wings. And so thank you, June. I think June is out there somewhere. All right.
She was here. Okay. People are coming and going.
That's right.
So at this time, I believe Gladys, will you be introducing our speakers this evening? Okay. So to start us off, where is she? There she is. Kathleen Davis. I met Kathleen, gosh, I shouldn't do this because now I'm going to kind of like be required to talk about everybody, but I met Kathleen a couple of years ago during COVID, the start of COVID, 2020. She had just joined WiVLA late 2019, and that's when we did the the Zoom readings for the LaPorte Public Library. And so that was when we first met. And then it was a few months later that we we got to meet in person downtown at Peacock's.
Magpies.
Magpies and Peacocks.
Mhm.
So let me put the spotlight on you. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So do I start now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I saw the topic of what if, and I actually wrote something up and then I signed up to read it. So I've never done this before. So this is the direction of my what if, how it went or where it went. What if I learned about sad, mad, glad early in life? What if I lived in a home that encouraged me to share my feelings calmly, or maybe a little loud or enthusiastically? What if I am safe to speak up and have an opinion? What if I can listen and hear others' views? What if I realize their opinions are theirs and have no reflection on me? What if differences mean open communication to explore and learn? What if hurts are shared and the person is affirmed? What if parents, brothers, and sisters teach each other? What if courage is expressed when someone does something challenging for themselves? What if I can say I need and I am heard? What if mutual solutions are found to meet our needs? What if I have choices? What if I truly enjoy my path? What if I make a mistake or make mistakes?
Okay.
I see how I hurt others and I change my behavior. What if fun, joy, laughter, relaxing are major parts of my life? What if I'm curious? Some I like, some not so. That's why so many different are made. Everyone is treated well. What if I communicate with the guiding spirit who is with me always? What if I realize everyone has a guiding spirit so I can focus on me? What if I trust, have faith, and I am safe? That's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And let me
I'm not able
let me do what I need to do here. Kathleen.
Yeah, I also have a published book out. I'll put in a plug for that.
Yes, yes.
Outcry response, what educators need to know about sexual abuse.
Oh,
Thank you.
wow.
And you still have that in the member directory, right? You have the name of the book in your.
Yes, I do have that in there. And actually, that's Wendy's photograph of me that was in the book and on my website or on the WiVLA.
Great. Thank you. Well, not having done this before and probably haven't seen it, it took a little bit of courage to go first.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. And you should have seen Kathleen at the Haunted Holidays readings. It's hard to describe with the poodle skirt and the pink glasses, and well, you just had to be there. I'm sorry y'all weren't there to see what people were wearing. And Gabrielle, anyway.
But she does show up on the YouTube video.
Yes, it is on YouTube. It is on our YouTube channel. Okay, next up is Ellen Seaton, our secretary and all of that, and a bag of chips.
If you can't have fun with it, don't try it.
So Ellen's been on the board a couple of years. This is it maybe 3 going on 4, changing a couple of positions so that she could stay on the board. And I am so glad that she wanted to, and I know is thrilled that she still wants to. And she was super instrumental in getting the literary competition going for us next year with Houston Writers Guild. So we're going to keep her, or excuse me, Gretchen's going to keep her busy with that. And we're all very excited. So you have the spotlight, Ellen?
Yes, we're just gonna have to time out any World Series games, literary, contests and Haunted Holidays 2023.
Wow.
Yes, because Haunted Holidays was held the 6th game of the World Series. So we had a
Oh,
little
wow.
competition there, but most of the people, who were cool attended the Haunted Holidays. So
Well, the cool people
Yeah, first
attended
one.
both. I just want to say, okay.
a lot of people attended both, yes.
We taped the game. So you see it later.
Okay, my reading for this evening, as you know, I tend to write about Grim Reapers. So what if turkeys had a choice? Tom, Grim Reaper turkey, walked down the hallway towards the reincarnation auditorium. His robe and size were similar to those of the other reapers. However, they were small enough to fit his stature. He looked smaller than the other turkeys in the room. As a Grim Reaper, Tom's body consisted only of his skeletal structure. There were no feathers that gave most living turkeys a sense of pride. However, he liked his Reaper form. The robe and scythe felt almost regal. As Tom strolled along, he was talking to Bernard, his longtime friend, who was preparing to reincarnate. Even as they spoke, Bernard's body was slowly changing from a bold, beautiful gobbler to a ghost form. The incandescent glow started with his feet and then slowly worked itself up through his feathers, his wattle, and would eventually end with his head. Bernard, I thought things were a mess the last couple of years due to the pandemic. One year there were too many turkeys, then too few. This year we could use more, but every bird is much more expensive due to something called inflation. Tom, Bernard began, you've been doing this job for many years now. It used to be so simple to return turkeys to being turkeys. The gobblers were all excited about being the center of attention at the Thanksgiving dining table. Bernard put one wing on the shoulder of his Reaper friend. I can see how much more stress you deal with every year. I think it's the millennial fowls who have crossed over during the last couple of years. One used to have great pride about being a turkey and serving families and friends, a festive meal, a meal that brought people together, just the way Norman Rockwell intended. Now everyone wants new experiences and some excitement. Some want to become eagles, others want to become house cats. One adventurous turkey wants to become a wild boar. Where's the loyalty? Willa, who was in charge of all Grim Reapers everywhere, walked up behind Tom and Bernard. Tom, Willow began, you can do this. We're going to think outside the box. You need Thanksgiving dinners and you need to give some of the younger chicks an incarnation or two of exploring. Besides, even if turkeys are scarce and expensive, pigs are in plentiful supply. And don't forget, tofu turkey becomes more popular every year. As they reached the podium, Tom agreed, you might have something there, Willow. Everything's been changing so much the past few years, it's just hard to keep up. Willow stood behind the podium and raised her bony hands to calm down the restless room. The fact that she was at least 3 feet taller than any of the turkeys always gave her a visual advantage. Once all had quieted down, Willow began to speak. Well, aren't we having an exciting year? So many choices, so little time. For those of you who want to reincarnate as turkeys, please go through this door on the right. Have fun and may you turn out tasty. Bernard was among the first through the doorway and could be heard saying to the turkeys leaving with him, I can't wait to show up on the Thanksgiving table. I hope they use fresh cranberries in my stuffing this time. The other turkeys gobbled in agreement and excitement. Willow continued, now there are those of you who definitely do not want to return again as turkeys. Those of you who feel strongly about this, please go back into the front hall where there are a team of Reaper counselors who will help you make your next selection. Good luck and choose wisely. As this group of gobblers filed out of the auditorium, they were also happy and excited. Turkey Fred was heard shouting, I hope I get to return as a snake, maybe a cobra. A turkey named Butterball replied, I want to return as an aardvark. I've always wondered what life was like for those critters. Finally, Willow looked down at the remaining small crowd of very confused turkeys. Will some of you tell me what about your hesitation to return to turkeyhood? Turkey Zeke raised a wing and said, It's okay if the home you're served in looks at parades and football games. Some may binge on good movies. The families that talk politics, how shall I say it, really suck. There's always that one uncle who argues with everyone and only agrees with himself. Many of the birds around Zeke nodded their beaks quickly. The last time this happened to me, I just wanted to jump off the platter and whack everyone with my delectably cooked legs. Unfortunately, I don't have that skill. To make matters worse, this has been an election year. And so many people have guns, alcohol, and dysfunctional families. Those folks may not even make it to the dinner table. At least if the mortals are aiming at each other, no animals will be harmed. The other turkeys gobbled and nodded some more. Willow held up her bony hands to quiet them down again. Don't worry, there are choices. Each of you will meet with either Tom or me to help you decide. Turkey Scout raised a wing. Willow, when will the holidays return to normal? Both Willow and Tom shook their heads. Willow said, probably not for a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you.
That was wonderful. Wait, let me, and the hat really, really added to it.
You know, if I was going to read this, I had to wear a turkey hat. Yeah.
I kind of felt like, you know, I was hearing it right from the turkey's beak. Anyway, next up is Lorette. Lorette. Let me find you.
I'm here.
Gotcha. Whoops, that's not Lorette. Okay, so I'm having hand-eye coordination issues. Okay. Let me try one more time, Lorette. I know. Yeah, hand-eye coordination. So Lorette was a speaker one month, and then she also did a workshop for us. Is that right? I know about the workshop for sure. And I was so lucky that I got to attend the workshop as the person recording it. And I was just felt so blessed that she chose a couple of my photographs to use in the ekphrastic writing workshop. It was, you know, it's one of those experiences that we encourage you to do. This may be out of your wheelhouse, but it was such an amazing experience. And what you were able to bring out of everyone who attended, the attendees were writing almost full pieces in 8 minutes. It was an amazing thing to see. We are very happy that you have signed up to read tonight. You have been spotlighted and you can start at any time.
Well, thank you again for always such a warm welcome. It's really wonderful to be here, and I'm really blessed to be part of this collective, even though I'm not in Texas and I'm far away. So thank you. I've had so much wanderlust the last few years due to COVID and the lockdowns, as well as just some arthritis and surgical issues, and have kind of been stuck close to home for most of the time. And so my what if was about wanderlust, and what if you could just get on a train and go somewhere. And so I found one of my poems about a friend who did that, and I'd like to read it. It's called Play-Doh. It's a prose poem. Coffee with Noah, the last day of fall. He is learning to make kimchi ever since he stopped making cider moonshine in his closet. We talk about our microbiomes, about eating more liver. We talk about caroling for Halloween and not Christmas, amused by the idea of warbling Bela Lugosi is dead in front of retirement centers instead of Joy to the World. Noah gives me a cell phone charm, a tiny Hello Kitty on a camel. It's something I have wanted for a long time. I wished I'd brought the little tub of plasticine from the dollar store that was at home on my desk. We could make blue spaghetti snakes or little bunnies. We talk about how Cormac McCarthy should write short stories, even though he sees no point to them. The shorter the better, I think. Argue for taking that lean language to its logical conclusion. Noah blinks both eyes behind his rimless glasses, considers Cormac flash, worries at a cube of sugar on the saucer with one pointy finger. He asks about Barcelona. I try to express a fraction of what it was like to see Gaudi's spires and all those legs of ham. Well, Noah always wanted to hop a freight train and hobo his way across the prairies, and he tells me how he did in June from here to Medicine Hat. I picture him with his diary and a thermos of fermented cabbage tied in the very kerchief now on his head, soaring away in lonely locomotion. I imagine the slow, stumbling stall as the train breaks in Alberta, spilling Noah and his notebook into the night, scattering a fluffle of hairs. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. And that's one thing that's been wonderful, I guess, if you got to find it, the pony is the pandemic gave us Zoom and the ability to be together like this. Otherwise, I don't think I would have ever met you, and that would have been a loss for me. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. The feeling is mutual.
Thanks. Let's see if I have the hand-eye coordination to remove the spotlight. Okay.
There we are.
Got it. I don't know. Margot, I just don't know what to say about you. I could just go on forever, but you've been like the greatest surprise and wonder to have on the board. For some reason, Margot was able to fly beneath the radar of every president who was looking to fill the board. She said, well, she'd try, hopefully she'd have the energy to do this job. And she pretty much did 2 years of work in a year. And so she's just going to be, I think, drinking wine and eating bonbons during the rest of 2023.
I wish my body would let me do that.
I know.
Just won't.
It's probably not good for you.
Only if you share.
Yeah, I would have to share it all.
Well, those virtual bonbons aren't so bad.
Well, I mean, it's really been a wonderful year, and yeah, I have flown under the radar probably 20 years with WiVLA, and but nobody ever called me on the phone. And when Melody called me, I thought, uh-oh, I guess it's time to give back. So this is my giving back. So I have a couple of poems. The first one, it's a happy coincidence. It's a poem that was published in the Ekphrastic Review, and that is Lorette's online journal, which is, if you're not familiar with it, you need to check it out. Sandy can speak a little bit more about it, but she gives challenges every couple of weeks, and then sometimes she has these large, the big challenge. And she also teaches wonderful workshops. I just took one this afternoon, and so I'm kind of all jazzed up about that. Okay, so the first poem is An All-Night Conversation with You, After Having a Coke with You by Frank O'Hara. If I could turn back time, share. An all-night conversation with you is better than an afternoon chat with anyone else right now. Maybe because we love absorbing esoteric movies and dissecting them ad nauseum for days. Maybe because we love attending theaters and pretending to be theater critics. Maybe because I love to have parties and you loved being a guest in our home. Maybe because we travel so much and now the world reminds me of you. I would rather see you than London, Paris, Kashmir, Machu Picchu, or Disneyland on either coast. I imagine us a couple of old pillows hanging out on the sofa, stuffing our faces with popcorn and wine. If we invited your wife, could you get a hall pass for one more movie, one more conversation? I have so much to tell you. And I forgot to mention, I wrote this in one of Kate Wise Orcutt's poetry classes. This next one is something I wrote in one of Sandy Stromberg's writing classes when she taught them at the Young Center. It's very, very old, but I think it's kind of fun. There is a bad word. I'm going to just say beep when I come to the bad word. If I were a color, I would be pink, hot pink, not the pale pastel pink of gingham and ruffles and lace, but sizzling pink, electric pink, eye-popping art pink. If I were a plant, I would be a cactus, tough, juicy, prickly, thriving in deadly spaces, exposing my flower when the mood strikes. If I could fly, I would be a bat, sleeping in caves, waiting for dusk to swarm and fly, shopping for blood snacks to munch till dawn. If I were a pet, I would be Fifi la beep you, bitch contestant in the ugliest dog contest, cold staring at the judges, growling under my breath. Bite me. Thank you.
Oh, God. Oh, thank you. You know, I just got to say, Margot, I'm still saying boo. You know, oh, you're on mute, dear.
I'm reading the boo story at Two-Headed Dog Friday night. I'll tell you more about it at the end.
Okay, okay. All right, let me see if I'm any good with the mouse. Speaking of Sandy, where are you? Ah, you're at the very bottom. Okay. And you are on mute, Sandy.
Mute. There.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of nice. It tells you to unmute yourself. Thanks to Lorette and Margot for an intro, because I'm going to read one of my ekphrastic poems that appeared recently in the Ekphrastic Review. And this is the artwork, and it was called Time Molt, Tinder by Annalise Giacomides. And when I looked at it, I'm not always good with surreal, but when I looked at it, I just thought this collage was full of noise and color and life. And so, and at the same time, the topic came up for tonight's reading, what if? So I imagined, what if you were all walking by my house and you could look in the window? What would you see? And this was published, I guess about a month ago on the Ekphrastic Review. I've since rewritten it. It was one of the challenges which Lorette puts up bi-weekly. You get a challenge and you have 2 weeks to write a poem and submit it. Then she makes selections anywhere from 10 to 20 people, and it's a wide variety. So interesting to see how everyone responds. And I must quickly make a WiVLA digression, because Joe Zeider and I did a collaboration. Lorette encouraged me to be a guest judge and to choose some WiVLA art, and I am a great admirer of Joe's art, and she had the exhibit at the Jung Center at the same time. So all of the pieces were written to Joe's piece from her Earth at the Edge, the big tree, and they were marvelous. Anyway, so this was written as though you were looking in my window. A clatter of color. If you could see through my living room window, you'd know I'm at home in the clatter of color, slight tinkle of teacups, the bright blue peacock mask from Bali, and its mate, a red lion's head with bulging eyes. Here I keep company with the golden salamander, woven from pineapple fibers, climbing the wall. Here I grow dizzy, images swirling around my head like the stars of Van Gogh's Starry Night. I drink my solitary coffee with the unknown characters in Hopper's Nighthawk Diner, or let my eyes stroll Pizarro's garden with its plum trees and blossom that hangs above my computer. My spirit hums, trying to harmonize as life gives and takes away, divorce from the first husband, death of the second, one moment lost in grief, the next captivated by a good book about someone else's life. Here I could muse about time, molt memories, the way blue jays molt feathers when they're not needed for courtship, where color brings a tender compensation. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. And thank you for sharing that information about, well, Joe. Many of us have seen Joe's exhibition, and I didn't see it at the Jung Center, but I've seen it, and it is inspiring. All right, let me try this one more time. Let's see. Okay. Next up is Jean King.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Love the
Good.
hat.
I did not do the same earphones this time. Last time it was weird. Anyway, okay, this is the first time I've done this. This is the first time that I have read to other people outside of people in my household. So here goes. Brother Elwood. Elwood was illiterate. Perhaps that's where the whole problem began. I saw an ad in the National Enquirer and read it to him. It said, free, holy anointing prayer oil. It couldn't hurt, right? And just maybe it would help. I filled out the coupon with his name and my address. After all, he'd need me to read it to him once the response arrived. I stuck it in an envelope and mailed it off. I was a little taken aback by the speed of the reply. Only 2 weeks had passed when I received a slightly lumpy envelope addressed to Brother Elwood King. Elwood came right over. I think he was as excited as I was. The envelope contained a letter from a Reverend Johnston to Brother Elwood and a small plastic vial of a colorless liquid with a twist-off top, resembling nothing more than the flea and tick treatment I use on my cats. I could hardly contain myself. The desire to twist the top off and smell the contents was almost overwhelming. There was a moment when I thought Elwood would use his teeth on it and spill it or swallow it whole. He agreed to let me help him uncork this holy anointing prayer oil. I should let you know, Elwood lost a great deal of his manual dexterity after the accident, but more about that later. We both sniffed at it. It didn't smell like anything in particular. Mineral oil, cooking oil. Who knew what holy anointing prayer oil should smell like? I'm certain Elwood tasted it when I wasn't looking. I read the letter to him. He gave a snort at his new title of Brother Elwood. There was a sentence or two on how to use the holy anointing prayer oil, suggestions for how to pray during the anointing, and a much longer paragraph asking Brother Elwood to send a cash donation as soon as possible. It seemed the beneficial effects of the holy anointing prayer oil would be increased exponentially based on the size of this donation. They also offered to send him a holy prayer cap once his donation cleared. Elwood seemed disappointed at this last paragraph. He didn't have any cash. His resources were completely depleted. He hadn't been able to work since the accident. About that accident, it happened a year and a half before, during the week before Christmas. Elwood had been crossing the street. I'm pretty sure he was a little tipsy, or at least he wasn't paying attention. It was twilight, and the car came seemingly out of nowhere. It never even braked. It definitely didn't stop. Maybe the driver was full of holiday spirits as well. Elwood was left lying in the street in a pool of blood until one of the neighbors spotted him. He was rushed to the emergency room. His back was broken. The doctors did their best to repair the damage. He was lucky to be able to walk at all. He stayed with me once he was released from the hospital. I took care of him as best I could until he could move back into his own house. We both had high hopes that the holy anointing prayer oil would help him, even if all it did was boost his spirits. I agreed to help him write a response explaining his condition and his dire financial situation, how hopeless he felt, and how much he was hoping for some relief from all his trials, physical, mental, emotional, and financial. I posted it as soon as it was finished. Once again, the response was rapid. The envelope from Reverend Johnston arrived containing a slightly more demanding letter, again requesting a love offering, a smaller soft envelope containing the holy prayer cap, and a returned self-addressed envelope, which lacked a stamp. The holy prayer cap looked a great deal like a cheap motel shower cap with a large cross printed on the crown. The letter gave instructions to don the holy prayer cap just prior to retiring for the evening. This was to be done every night for a week. And at the end of the week, Elwood was to return the holy prayer cap along with his donation. I helped Elwood modify the holy prayer cap to better fit him. And afterward, I set about drafting a response to the request for money. I explained that Elwood had no money to pay his bills, and he was afraid that if things didn't get better, he might be evicted. He literally had no money and no way to acquire any. I had done all I could. At the end of the week, after Elwood had struggled each night with the holy prayer cap, I helped him put the letter and cap into the pre-addressed envelope, and I provided the stamp. He walked with me to drop it in a nearby mailbox. The next letter to Brother Elwood came in a much larger envelope, the better to accommodate a color photograph. On one side was a picture I recognized from the Sunday school classrooms of my childhood. Blonde, blue-eyed Jesus in white robes knocking on a door. On the reverse side, there was an image of a smiling Reverend Johnston surrounded by happy members of his congregation who appeared to be filling an offering plate with coins and bills. Reverend Johnston was, how shall I put it, Euro-American? Caucasian? White? Pasty white? The congregants were people of color, all of a much darker tone. It would seem that Brother Elwood's name had led to assumptions about his pigmentation. The letter was much more explicit this time. It explained to Brother Elwood that he should send whatever he had, bills of any denomination, coins, whatever he had. I suppose the stamps I had placed on the previous envelopes had the Reverend Johnston thinking Brother Elwood was holding out. If he couldn't pay his rent or bills, it was of no consequence. He should send whatever he had. Reverend Johnston wrote that whatever Brother Elwood gave would be returned to him tenfold. Brother Elwood decided not to reply. This is a true story. It happened years ago. I knew Elwood well. We lived together. He had a dark complexion. At this point, I must confess, Elwood was a Doberman pincer. He was most certainly illiterate, and except for my financial assistance, he was destitute. He'd been hit by a car right before Christmas. His back was broken. The veterinarian put a metal plate in his back, which gave him an odd humped posture. I cared for him while he convalesced. The holy anointing prayer oil didn't seem to have any effect. There was never any mention by the good reverend of the modifications, ear holes, to his holy prayer cap. He wore the cone of shame, so he couldn't simply tear it off and eat it. He never made any donations. He crossed the Rainbow Bridge more than 40 years ago. Every now and then I think, what if someone could fix all the things wrong with this world? What if someone could tell me how to defeat death and disease? I think of Brother Elwood when I hear of one of the various prosperity gospel preachers. I think of Brother Elwood when I start falling into magical thinking. I'm reminded of him whenever it sounds like there's an easy way out. I thought of him recently when I read about Princess Martha Louise and her fiance, Shaman Durek Verrett, and his spirit optimizer. Only $222, and it takes care of everything. Just remember, there is no money back guarantee. The end.
I'm so glad you decided to share that with us. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the hat, if you can see the comments, has been a big hit too.
Oh, nice.
Okay, let me see. I'm looking for the Queen of the Universe. Having a hard time finding you.
No, she's Empress of the Universe.
Oh, well, that's okay. No
Thank you,
wonder.
Ellen.
No
Thank you
wonder.
for that clarification.
Well, see, now I can find her. Okay. So I think I've only had a
just needed
chance.
the right name.
Yeah, right. I think I've only had a chance to meet you in person once. Is that right?
Once, yes. We were at Brazos, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I just loved your reading, and I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
you signed
Thank
up
you.
for tonight.
Thank you.
Oh,
No,
Empress.
I was delighted to sign up for tonight. And yeah, and Jean, thank you. That was a really, really touching, heartfelt piece about about your dog. Thank you. Yeah, this prompt is amazing when you think about what if. A lot of my own poems are kind of what if poems. So I went and found, and this is from my first book, Azaleas on Fire, and I have two what if poems. So the first one is called Birthstone, which is a what if I could talk to my parents about my own conception. My conception must have been early June in the month of pearls and weddings. My father said it happened on his birthday. I like to imagine it was after the cake and champagne in a pale blue bedroom that he swam the length of my mother's moon white skin by candlelight. I was born 9 months later, out of wedlock. But as they slept, his fingers woven into the waves of her long black hair, I am told she dreamt of an aquamarine. And, second and last poem is what if a ghost could speak from the grave? I'm kind of still back with the Brazos theme of the ghost poems. I write a lot of ghosts or something that inspire me a lot. So this one is called Winter Solstice. There is a silence that circles itself while we sleep. I have learned to keep my secrets deep in the silver veins of ice white marble. I have learned to count my sins on an abacus strung with pearls. Beneath the snow, there are vines. The roots weave through skeletons, wrap themselves around ankle and wrist bones. They make me remember other nights. I am deaf, but I still hear your footsteps. I am mute, but I still repeat your name. The petals of strange flowers sing in my mouth. Perhaps in the spring, sparrows will learn to sing in the blistered throats of bell towers. In the summer, we may pour ourselves out like pale blue sand on a cypress pier, like a sky robbed of its rain. Until then, I wait in this place where Madonnas and martyrs weep among their lilies, where the scent of faded orange blossom is still trying to rise from the whispers of broken families. I remember that my own remains are buried here with a lost bridal veil, buried beneath a trellis that warmer weather will dress in star jasmine and honeysuckle. The stars rise and strike at midnight like countless darts. The moon spills her light like salt in a wound. The air has turned cold. Perhaps the children standing here above my grave will learn how to keep warm, nestling deep into the fur of white animals. Perhaps they will celebrate Christmas. But when all of their churches finally fall, when all of their cities have burned, you will find this poem left for you like a flower hidden in the ashes. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Those were wonderful. So once again, thank you, Gabrielle. Now let me find Jerry.
Jerry, yeah.
I know I can see her, but okay.
Ah, there's Jerry.
Hey, Jerry?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Jerry. Okay, there you go. And Jerry lives a short walk from my house.
Oh,
It's so fun to find how many people live so nearby. So it is nice to have Jerry in the neighborhood. And I'm a fan. I have been so lucky to have been able to record Jerry at least once, maybe twice for the Poetry Month. You just can't believe how special it is to have these one-on-one sessions. And Jerry's were some of the ones where I needed to have a Kleenex nearby. So I'm really pleased that you'll be reading tonight, Jerry.
I'm not going to do a reading tonight. In a former life, I was a storyteller. And then I lost all the resonance in my voice, and it's kind of crackly now. But I don't care. So what if I just have to tell you all. In the fall of 2000, I had signs printed that were like this big, and And the only words on them were, "What if?" And I put them on my car. And then, because I save yard signs of my political ghost life, I put all of my signs out, beginning with Al Gore and followed by John Kerry, and then Mr. Obama and Mrs. Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and Biden. And I had what ifs on my yard signs. And the reason was that I have been anti-war since 1960 something, and my second born, John, came to me. I guess there had been news about Vietnam, and a lot of news about Vietnam, and a lot of our neighbors' husbands died, children died. There were deaths every day in the newspaper. So my little son John was about 5 at that time, and he came up to me in the afternoon, and he was worried. And he asked me if he was going to have to go to war someday. And I looked at this little kid. He's 4 or 5 years old, and I said, "I don't know. I can't promise you no." And I couldn't. But I will promise you that I will do everything in my power to make it so you don't have to go to war. Well, as luck would have it, when he came of the time when he might have gone to war, there wasn't any war. And so his younger brothers had to sign for that they would go. They had to sign up. I guess the draft was passed, but they had to put their names but there were many discussions about whether they would even do that. And a lot of their friends, our youngest didn't do too well in high school. And so people came to me and said, "You ought to have him go in the military, Jerry." And then the first Bush was elected president, and he sent us to Desert Storm. I hate war. And I've never seen a war that I supported until now. Poor people that are fighting for their life. And so all the what ifs of life, and I'm facing new what ifs in life right now. They make us so sad. They're like ghosts. I'm done.
Well, now I wish you lived next door so I could run over and give you a hug.
Wow.
I may show up on your doorstep. Thank you. That was
Wow.
and that made me think of so many things as well. That was very thought provoking.
Ooh. Wow.
So
Man.
the last reader of the evening is Ms. Gladys May. Yeah, that's follow that, huh, Gladys?
Well, really.
I've known, okay, let me just say, I have known Gladys a couple of years at least, and spent a delightful afternoon at her house, just the two of us. Let me just say, if Gladys invites you over for lunch, run, speed down the freeway, go as fast as you can, because she's like the hostess with the mostest. And plus we had, we laughed, we had some heartfelt talks. I've just so enjoyed getting to know you this year. And it's a shame that you live so dang far away, but because it's more fun to see you more often. And she had a workshop. Was it just this year?
Yeah.
This seems so long ago. The step workshop. And I didn't know what to expect, but it was a 4-hour workshop that I wished had lasted all day long. I was inspired by your poetry, and I hope you give that workshop again.
I will.
So without any further ado, Gladys, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, first of all, Jerry, that really did put a big knot in my stomach. In fact, I'm trembling right now. It really resonated with me, and I thank you for that. Let me gather my emotions because it got to me. What if? Oftentimes I think, why did I meet the boys or that grew up to be men in my life, and how they altered or challenged me or questioned me. And perhaps if I had been a little bit more confident in who Gladys May Bullock is or was, perhaps I wouldn't have met some of the, then I'm going to say the boys that in my life. Boys and bombs, they both have a certain type of charm. Boys light up your heart with their warm smiles and bright eyes. Bombs keep you mesmerized by its loud and strong songs, but both can cause hurt and pain and may at times be fatal to your health if not handled with care. Well, the reality of it all is that had I not met this certain boy, I wouldn't have my 3 children today. So a boy liked me, and I gave up family and friends. A boy liked me, Gladys May Bullock. And gradually, all I felt was the emptiness inside of me because this boy liked me. And words of admiration and changed to words of cruelty and degradation. You see, this boy told me how much he liked me. And my smiles changed to cries for him to please stop liking me so that I can start liking myself again. What if I'd not met you? Maybe I would not have sought out poetry. Maybe I would not have written books. Maybe I wouldn't have ridden many miles on my bikes. Maybe I wouldn't have climbed mountains. Maybe I would not have discovered the Gladys May Bullock that my mother and father made me to be. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. The Kathy's at the beginning and yours at the end were perfect bookends for this wonderful event. And heartfelt thanks to all of you for sharing your readings this evening. It has been such a gift and such a fabulous way to cap off the year. We started out doing these poetry readings in conjunction with the monthly meetings that Archway Gallery does, and then somehow it sort of morphed into this is what we do now every November for our November meeting, and I'm so glad that we do it. I hope it continues. It was all very special this evening. It's still a little early. I wanted to say one thing that I forgot to mention. I talked about this poster that's behind me and the poster that Gladys May, I'll do you a favor and move this spotlight. Here, you can show it. Okay. Now we can see it a little bit better. I forgot to mention who the artist was or is.
Ah, and see, I have the little bitty one too. Can y'all see that better?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take down this is the postcard.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it's a great, okay, I'm gonna make you small.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's Elisa. This was her piece in
Beautiful.
collaboration with Margot.
Wow.
So yes, so it's a great piece. It's really colorful, and as you can see from the poster and the card that Gladys May held up, it makes just a fabulous publicity piece for the show. So yeah, so now we just need to gather up everything and install this exhibition. Well, and I don't know if everybody knows this, but you know, since I've been a member, the literary pieces were only excerpts. They were 250 word excerpts. The whole 750 words, if that's how many the literary partner wrote, will be on display as well.
Wow, but you did it. You did it.
Well,
you did it.
I guess I get by with a little help from my friends and Elena.
Oh, she's so good.
She's heaven sent. So yeah. So I'm very eager to see it. And I think we've mentioned that we will have a professional videographer there. So we will be capturing this event. So I think it's going to be great. So I'm hoping that everybody that's involved brings everybody they know to share in the experience.
Yes, I want to say something.
Okay.
I want to tell Melody how grateful I am that she stepped up and became president of WiVLA after me. And, you know, the pandemic happened in the middle of my tenure. We made it through, and it was kind of painful, but, you know, a lot of good things happened too. But the way Melody has added to WiVLA and rolled with it and changed these things and pulled in people with every talent to take us to the next level. I'm so impressed. Melody, you really have hung in there. Hopefully in a lot of tears. And it does. I mean, I was always grateful for having a fabulous board, and you've put together boards that have, you know, done their duty and shown up and done everything that they need to do to move WiVLA along. And I'm just so, and I'm excited about Gretchen coming in next. I mean, you guys are just, but this show, Melody, reach over right now and pat yourself on the back because this can be one of the showpieces of your life. Yeah, this is just a great.
Yes. Well, I appreciate that. But you know, this totally was a group effort. I mean, I didn't find this venue. Gladys did. Gladys May did. You know, and really the big secret is we're the lucky ones, you know, and you know it. And so it has been a joy. You know, I've been on the board of a lot of organizations in my many years, different careers, and I have always skillfully avoided the role of president. It was one organization, I was every single office on the board, but not president. And this, you kind of fell in my lap, and how lucky have I been to have been surrounded by so many talented women. I have learned so much, and like I said, I'm the lucky one. And I will be forever grateful for
Wow.
this. And I tell you what, you know, I mean, really, if somebody calls you and says you want to be on the board, think, "Ooh, I'm being asked to be on the fun with the fun girls." So just saying, you know,
Hey,
it has been, yeah, there is a little bit of work involved, but
Mhm.
everybody contributes, and you know, many hands make light work. And there's no,
yeah.
you know, I mean, there's no solid lines. It's like, okay, you're secretary, so you can't do anything but take notes. No, you can be a literary diva as well, right? And so I think that's the secret of no boundaries, right? And
Yeah.
because we all have different strengths. And I mean, I look at Mildred, and we had a hard time because she could do 3 or 4 things easily, right? I mean, she looks like a Gemini because she's in 2 screens. Maybe we could, you know, but I mean, so everybody, and so it would be easy for her to cross over and say, hey, let me help you with this. I was in management, you know, for a big ass company for a long time. You know, I can help with this. So I think that's the secret sauce of this group is everyone's so talented, has varied backgrounds, and brings them all to the table, and it works. It just works.
Yes.
So you know, it is, like I said, and all of a sudden it dawned on me this morning. It's like, this is my last meeting. So as not my last meeting, but my last meeting as president.
As the president, you qualify that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it has been a blessing for me. And I think you're gonna love having Gretchen as the next president.
You left some big footsteps for me to fill in.
Well, you know, it's like Lee once said that each of us brings something different to the table as president. And and so mine was more of some business systems putting into place. But I had a board of very creative women supporting me, and so I could do the business stuff, and then you were right there, you know, and you had ideas. And the best thing to happen this year, and there's a couple of the newer board members that were on this year aren't on the call, but the thing that I love about the board at WiVLA is about half of the board cycles off every year, and the other half, you know, is new. And so you have this constant infusion of new ideas that almost kind of sounds like our mission statement, right? And we had board members saying why and how come during the year. And those why, you know, why do we do it this way? And how come this is the way we do it? Those questions cause change. And that's what is so great about having the continuity, but yet the infusion of new ideas every year. And so I think that is our strength. And that is the only way that we're like the Senate. Let me just say. We have people rolling off and new ones coming on, but it's all positive. You know, we all sit on the same side of the room. So it's all good. So anyway, thank you for that. Anybody got anything going on? I know you guys have got stuff going on.
Could I say something?
Please, Lillian.
I wasn't sure I'd be able to do this, but I think I can. 3 months ago yesterday, our 59-year-old daughter died. Melody came out. She had something going on at Silver Street, and she came out for Brenda's services and went back, and I really appreciated that. I've gotten a lot of cards and messages from you all. Anyway, so I was looking at this book, and my thing is, if you have any money left over, you buy books. And so I saw this book, Divinely Align Me, How Signs from the Universe Keep You on Your Path. And it's how someone's soul or your pet's soul or something, you know, it's, but I you're getting signs. And so it's by Alicia Young. And I thought, Alicia Young? And
We
years
know
ago,
her. Yeah.
yes. And so she commented on, she texted back and forth about how much she appreciated being a member of WiVLA. And she lives in Australia.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so it's, I don't know how to start this. My youngest son, my kids are, I'm always remembering something and they'll say, well, I don't remember that, something they did, I guess that's their mother thing. But anyway, so our youngest son is in Dallas with 3 outstanding, I'm the grandmother, what can I say, boys. And so he said something about, Franklin, the youngest, Teddy, the youngest one, a sophomore in high school at the Performing Arts it's Booker T. Washington in Dallas. Teddy on his own wanted to play some concerto at the service. And it was incredible. It was just incredible. And Brenda got real close. She lived with Tommy out in Temple, and she could go up and down. She enjoyed going back and forth to the nieces and nephews in Dallas, and really had a good bond with them. So, I had everybody that was involved in the service was a volunteer. And so I said, so Robert, the other day, our youngest son, said something about the senior show-offs. And I said, well, Teddy's not a senior. And he said, no, but a lot of people that are his friends are performing and they want him to accompany them. Okay. So I said, remember when Brenda first got to New York and she sent you this postcard? And when Brenda was 19, she went to New York in 85, when it was nasty. It was nasty. And it was rats and all kinds of fecal material of all kinds of creatures. And it was just really awful. And she stayed there for 5 years. She was trying to break into show business and found out, and she and a friend would go for, they'd get called back, but they wouldn't get chosen because the character's uniform or costume really didn't fit or something. It was ridiculous things. And her friend Michael, who spoke at her services, is Asian, and he tried out for a part for an Asian character, but he didn't get it because he was 2 inches taller than the star that they'd already chosen for the,
God.
So it's that talent doesn't always, So anyway, she stayed up there for 5 years, and so Robert, I said, don't you remember when Brenda sent you that postcard when she first got up there? And she talked to you about senior show off. And she said something about you should try. And he said, well, I don't remember that. Well, my whole house is chaos. I can't concentrate and I'm having trouble. Anyway, you don't need to know all that. But anyway, my whole house is stacks of stuff. So I pick up, and now I went to find it and I can't find it. The postcard appeared. I'm telling you, the postcard that I was talking about appeared. And she said to Robert, are you going to try out for senior show, whatever it is? And if not, you could work the lights and you could turn the lights off of the people you don't like and something like that. So then I'm seeing this book, Divinely Align Me, How Signs from the Universe Keep You on Your Path.
Yes.
And I discovered it was Alicia's. And so it's kind of it's amazing. It's just, so I thought, okay, Brenda was very creative. So what have I missed? I must have missed something. And the thing I missed was the postcard and things that she's touched that have just turned up that I haven't seen. Hurricane Harvey wiped us out, and we've still got things packed in the garage. But things that Brenda had done just show up. And it's really comforting, it's just really comforting. So this is called Divinely Align Me, How Signs from the Universe Keep You on Your Path. And if you got any money to spend, you need to order it from Amazon. And I think if then you'll find that people that you have loved or pets that you have loved, something will just appear in your life that you haven't, there's no logical explanation. There's no reason that I should have found that. And
But you did. That's
it
it.
just happened, and it's we were so close, and it's really, really hard. I've had friends, we've all had grief in our life, but I've never known anything like this. And it's been really, and you can talk to yourself, and you can, every morning, my dog and I start with the Calm app. Do y'all know the Calm app? And if I start it and he's not on my lap, then when he hears Tamara's voice, he comes. We meditate. My dog and I meditate every morning. And for a while, I would carry my app or my cell phone around with me when I was really frantic, so I could, just learning how to breathe, and it's just very difficult. But anyway, I try to get this book. I think you'll enjoy it.
Thanks.
I'd like to say a little something, please.
Love you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I like to say something to you, Lee and Lynn, and also to Melody. I want to thank you, Lee, Lynn, for courting me to come on the board. Everything you said was everything that you promised happened. A lot of people don't, they say things that they don't mean, and it didn't happen, but everything that you said was true. And when I first met Melody, I go, boy, she's kind of hard and strict and just, boy, yeah. And I said, oh my,
reputation here.
Yeah, I was, I mean, just, yeah, but tough. And so, but
She whipped us into shape.
She did.
I'm gooey on the inside.
I can see now. I can see that. It took 2 years to see that. But what I want to say, although I have not stepped up, I wanted to be back on the board. I'm waiting to retire because I work in the school still, and it is really stressful dealing with in the school systems now. And I am so emotionally tired a lot of times that after I come home, I just need to vegetate, because we go through security checks for being, maybe we're going to be, somebody every day we got somebody coming in, making sure our doors are locked so we won't get shot at, or kids. I mean, things that's really stressful in the school systems.
Sure.
So I want to be able because I enjoy WiVLA. It's my happy pill, but because sometimes I'm just so mental, it's like, oh my God, I got to go to work, and I got to be ready. I got to be on. I got to be vigilant, and I got to manage kids and talk to kids and teach kids. So I do plan, and I'm real quick because this is our bedtime, to come back to the board within the next year or two. I do want to come back, do something like that, kind of a Margot, come back and give back. So I just wanted to say that to you. For you, Lee Steimer, and
so hey, Gladys May, guess what? Ellen and I have already spoken about Poetry Month for next year. So expect like an email or a phone call to help out with Laporte. Okay.
Okay. And
just because you're not on the board doesn't mean you don't get a phone call.
Okay. And that's yes. And if you need another venue.
And just because you're not on the board doesn't mean you can't send an email to Gretchen and say, hey, why not? Or how come? Or how about? felt
you know,
bad.
that's something that struck me about WiVLA really early on. I've been to other groups before and the people are all talking and then no one talks to you or whatever. WiVLA was always so welcoming to everybody. And we've made a lovely, you know, we will be together again at a certain point, but you know, not cliquish at all, not closed, like, oh, who are you? You're new, you know. No, it's always been about giving anyone who shows up a good experience. And one thing that maybe is like a little undercurrent of our mission statement is I like to talk about the happiness quotient and how each person's happiness quotient, if you even meet once a month with like-minded people, for us that maybe means creative women, if you meet at least once a month, it can increase your personal happiness quotient by 25%. Just that contact with people who get you is so valuable to your well-being. So I'm really glad that we, you know, whether you're on the board or not, or a new member or old member, and you drop off, you come back, whatever, we're all here to be in it together and share and feed off of each other's creativity. Ooh, there's a spooky story in there somewhere. So
you know what I found interesting when I got to meet with Mildred a couple of weeks ago is she's been a member for a long time. When I think you said that Carlene was president, like Holy Toledo. So I feel like a newbie compared to her. And Lillian, going back to you, as I recollect, you had a cast on when your daughter died, and so you had been unable to go to a tea party or all kinds of things, because I think I'd just been to your house and with tea things and tea cakes and crumpets and stuff, because you still weren't able to get out and about, and it was only a few days later that you got that horrible call. And so there was so much that you were going through on top of that. And you know, I just don't know how you did it. I was glad I was there to support you, but I felt that I did very little compared to.
No, that's you did, and several people called from WiVLA and sent cards, and it, you know, you think, oh well, but they're very meaningful, and it really does help. And some days, you know, some days are just crying days, and so I just let that happen. And
that's right. You got to do it. You gotta let yourself do it.
I broke my ankle in May the 15th. Well, I had gone to the park with WiVLA to the mosaic.
Oh my
thing.
gosh.
Yeah, and it was the very next day, and it was broken in several places, and I had broken that same ankle in 61 and already had plates and screws and stuff in it. And so it was a long thing, but I couldn't put any weight on it until August the 1st. Then it was just, you could just barely touch. And so then I went with walkers and canes when I get tired, but it took a lot out of me. I mean,
yes, I know it was just a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
So everyone, I have before we close the meeting tonight, does anybody have again any shows? Okay, so Margot, the Two-Headed Dog this Friday, the 18th, at 8 p.m. 3100 Fannin. It's a fundraiser for Table Feast.
The name of the journal is Table Feast. It is not a journal about food.
Okay.
But right now they are accepting submissions from women of color. And then after this submission period, the next period will be from women, you know, women in general. So this fundraiser, they have all these they make craft cocktails. It's on the corner of Fannin and Elgin. And so the money raised will go to pay the contributors. I think they're like winners, you know, like the top prose piece, the top poetry piece.
Okay, okay.
Anyway, if you can't make it to the fundraiser, check out Table Feast on Facebook.
Did you put this on? Did you put this on our group page?
Yeah.
I'm a couple days behind. I've just been like,
I thought I did, but I'll double check.
you
Okay.
don't. Yeah, like I said, I'm way
I
behind
put it
on.
in the calendar.
Okay, okay. Yeah, people were probably more likely to see it. I mean, you need to put it both places, and so I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I have something.
Yes, ma'am.
This is just a, a casual thing, but I'm having an open studio at my studio here on Saturday, just because it's Leavember, of course, and so I kind of wanted to just thank people I know by come by the studio, and if you're around, I'm in the East End. I can put my address in the chat, but if you don't already know me, but yeah, come over and maybe make a little. I have a couple little make and take things while supplies last, and I got books, and I'm gonna have my usual Dr. Pepper and cheese crackers. But if you're out and about and you're in my area of town, come by between 10 and 3. It's just that, I'm like desperate for friends. No, I'm
oh geez. So
no,
okay.
it's just that I have been working like a maniac because this is show season and I'm doing lots of markets and stuff. So I'm in here by myself all the time. So I just, I'm looking forward to, I've been at shows and things like that, but yeah, I just kind of like come by and let me give you something from my studio for free. So
well, I'm bummed I have to work during those hours.
Yeah,
and I think Gretchen's also going to be collecting art.
Not on Saturday.
I think Friday and Saturday are the dates that we have.
Oh, is it for? Okay. Well, I'm glad you told me. I thought it was Thursday and Friday, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, I thought it was the 17th and 18th also.
Oh,
Yes,
well, maybe I don't know what the 17th and 18th are. Maybe
No,
that's
the 17th
Thursday
is
and
Friday,
Friday.
Thursday, and the 18th is Friday.
Thursday
Yeah,
and
but
Friday.
I was going to ask whether I was going to check again and see if it was Saturday, but I have down Thursday and.
Okay, I knew what the dates were. I'm day of the week challenge. So sorry. Thank goodness. Okay, so Gretchen's free. I'm working.
Yeah, so you're not going to be there Saturday doing it.
I wasn't planning on Saturday.
Okay, I think Saturday they're starting the collection for art on the Avenue.
Yes. Yeah, that's I got to do that. But and I'm also
I've got to bring that, and otherwise I would have done it at the same time. But I'll do it separately.
Well, I'm taking mine in on Sunday. Actually, they're taking.
Oh, yeah, there's several days.
Yeah,
and I think the event is the same day as the reception.
Yeah, the event goes the first, second, and third. Art on the Avenue is the first, second, and third.
Yeah. But the public event, the one that's the $30 or the $35 or whatever they're charging this year.
But you're gonna go to the WiVLA event.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's this.
It never made it. No, it's not like it's different than it used to be. I used to hang around my art to look at the bid sheet, but now it's online. So
it's online. We can be checking. It's like we'll be checking the World Series scores on our phone, right?
Yeah, we'll be checking the bid sheets on our phone.
If you don't show up to that reception, you're going to see my tough exterior come back again. The one that scared Gladys May.
It scared me. I'm telling you,
This
was
is
like,
news to me.
y'all
Okay.
scared me.
I
Hey,
don't
we needed you. Apparently I was just a little too,
Oh no, but you're the one. You're so sweet. And I came on. Your sweetness was great.
Maybe that's why my
I'm an
husband
idea
always hides.
person, and then
Okay.
I point,
So-
I come up with the ideas, and then I find a person to make it happen. So
All right. Does anybody else have anything going on?
yeah, my husband's making dinner. I gotta go now. Love
I
you
got
guys.
8 o'clock,
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Somebody come see me. Bye.
All right.
Hi.
Oh, wait, now I gotta leave. Okay.
Okay, ladies. All right.
Oh,
This has been
yeah,
fun.
this-
People are dropping like flies.
Yeah.
I know it's past Gladys May's bedtime.
It
so
is,
tomorrow
I'm
is a
trying,
work day. This was the fun thing about having Gladys May on the board. The board meeting had to be done at 8 o'clock because
But
she.
I'm running it bad. I'm gonna run that
All
bad.
right.
Take off.
Ladies.
Thanks,
um,
guys.
Mildred, I don't expect to see you on December 11th, but if you show up, that would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Well,
I don't expect to see Lorette either, but you never know.
yeah,
So,
my son lives in Houston, so I might show up anytime.
yeah,
Yeah, all
I
right.
know. I know. All right. Well, it has been great to see y'all. Happy Thanksgiving to the
Yes.
stateside people.
Thank you
And
very much.
I'll
Thank
talk with
you.
y'all soon. Have a great
Yes.
evening.
Yeah, see you on the
Bye-bye.
11th. Oh, no, on the 3rd.
Yes. And the third, yes,
The 3rd. That's, yeah. Good night.